welcome back to Called and Crafted the Pod. I am your host, Reverend Arionne Lynch, and we are super excited today to dig in and talk to you again about what we're doing in the Compelling Preaching program here at the University of Indianapolis. Super excited to have a special guest in studio with us today, Mya Taylor. I almost said Reverend Mya Taylor.
That does have a ring to it.
Mya Taylor, who serves as our program and grants coordinator for the CPI program and some of our other programming. And she is actually a very essential and integral part of our Compelling Preaching program. And so we wanted to bring her on today to talk a little bit more specifically about the cohort part of our program and how you can be involved and what it's like to be part of the cohort. But first, let me give Mya a chance to introduce yourself. Say hi to the people, Mya.
Hi, thank you for that introduction, Rev Ari. It's great to be here with everyone today, and like she said, my name is Mya Taylor. I'm the Program and Grants Coordinator here at UIndy Chapel. I graduated from UIndy in 2024 with my degree in religion with a pre-theology concentration, and I love working with the CPI program and our grants programs that we have been involved with and are maybe involved with in the future. So yeah, just great to be here, and thank you for having me on.
Awesome. So let's jump right in. You really have been around the CPI program really fairly close to the beginning of the program and are launching our cohorts. And so we are now actually on cohort 8? I think we're on cohort 8, right?
Cohort 9, actually.
Yes. I stand corrected. We are on cohort 9, which is crazy.
Think about that for a minute.
So for the past few years, we have been inviting preachers to be a part of a peer sort of group, a cohort group in which they spend 8 weeks, right?
Yes.
Together, learning about the values that make preaching compelling. Now, I want to tell you that those values, we didn't just kind of pick out of thin air.
Right.
We really did spend time sitting with senior colleagues in preaching ministry several years ago. And through those conversations, very in-depth dialogue about what makes preaching compelling, these 6 values sort of rose to the top, so to speak, or those themes sort of emerged. And so in the cohort experience, they sit with facilitators who teach to those 6 values, but then they also then listen to one another's sermons and then offer critiques and feedback and think about and reflect upon their own sermons and think about how they are embodying those 6 values in their preaching, because of course the entire goal of the program is to help preachers be more compelling in their preaching. And so we put a lot of effort right into crafting a program that really helps preachers to hopefully preach better, right? So Mya, tell me just what do you see from your seat when you think about a preacher who begins the program, at a certain point, and then 8 weeks later, what do you see has happened in a particular, not necessarily a particular person, but when you think about what happens in the experience that people have over the 8 weeks, can you describe that? What do you see?
I think that the biggest thing that I notice is the preachers walk out of here feeling more confident in their abilities to preach a more compelling sermon. When they walk in, they know that they're good preachers, but they also know that they have room to improve. And I think in ministry, the biggest thing is to know that we're always learning, always growing. And they really get that chance to kind of focus in on how they're preaching and what they're doing and how they can improve some things. And when they walk out of here, they're so happy to, have been a part of this program and be more confident in who they are as preachers, and just the content maybe that they're preaching is also, I think they also feel more confident that they now have a community behind them of people who have also gone through this program and kind of know that experience. So I think that their biggest thing is just they feel better in who they are as preachers. And, sometimes a lot of these preachers haven't really taken any courses or any kind of other classes since seminary. And that is one thing that we have seen a lot. And, they're so happy that this program is available to them.
Awesome. And that's true. I would agree with you. I feel like preachers really are super receptive and excited, right, to have the opportunity to do some learning and growing. And for clarity, absolutely, we are all trying to get better, right? There's always room to improve, right? That's a part of the craft, right? And doing the work and really being faithful to the call. Okay, let me ask you this. So there's 6 values, right?
Yes.
That we talk about in the program, right? So let's talk. We won't talk in depth about them all right now, but let's just kind of name them. I have to tell you, my trick is because there's 6 of them, and sometimes I forget. Okay, I have persistent mom brain, so I forget things. But I use this little mnemonic device. I think HEART with 2 T's. So holistic preparation, effective storytelling, authenticity, relevancy and social awareness, theological faithfulness, and innovative use of technology, right?
That's
technology.
Good. I like
right?
That.
So that's how I do that. Okay, so when you think about those 6, right, that's very broad, right? Like, I mean, it's not broad, it's very specific areas, but it's a lot of territory to cover is what I'm trying to say. What do you think, when you're, because you usually are sitting right there in the room with them, right? So what are preachers like? Where do you really see light bulbs like going off, or seeing like people really like learning, like, oh my gosh, that could be a number of things, but when you think about the values, what ones do you think create the greatest conversation, or people have the most questions about, or most interested?
I think people are really interested in the effective storytelling. Most people that we get come through, they really have their theology down. Like, they have a really solid theological foundation. But they want to learn how to tell the story better. And I think the other one that people come in with a lot of questions about and kind of are excited to get into is like the use of technology. And so, of course, we have the lab now. And I see a lot of preachers that are excited about, the possibility of, or just coming in and getting to use our technology and, having somewhere where they can come create content, because some churches aren't quite up with the times yet. And so they don't have somewhere where, some churches don't even live stream yet. And that's okay. It's wherever they are in their journey as a congregation and as a church. But knowing that when those preachers know that they have somewhere they can come to and be able to, get their word out there in a different way than how they normally preach it on Sunday, I think that that means a lot to them. But definitely the storytelling, and I see a lot of light bulbs kind of going off there. But with the conference, with the holistic preparation, I think that a lot of people haven't, a lot of the preachers hadn't considered that themselves were part of the sermon preparation.
Come on, can we prepare the preacher?
Right, exactly, exactly. And so I think that getting people to recognize that, preparing the preacher is also part of sermon preparation is a big part of, preaching a compelling sermon.
Yes, I would agree with you. In fact, interestingly, lately I've been doing some reflection and on the work that we're doing, and I think for me that has been a key learning, right, is that actually I think what we learned from the conference is perhaps there is a 7th value, right, and that's the wellness, the well-being maybe of the preacher, right, because how am I going to preach a compelling sermon and I'm not okay? And it doesn't mean that, okay, yes, we all go through challenges and things like that. That's life. There's going to be the ups and the downs, and God is using us. We would say, as we mount a pulpit, as we wherever it is that we preach, even if it's in a space like this, right. So we are able to be used in a number of different ways. But it is to say that if there is something that we need to hold space to care for the preacher. That's really, really important. So
absolutely.
Listen, and I might as well go and throw this free commercial in right now. We would love for you all to join us for our 2nd conference. It is coming up, so stay tuned. You can click a link below. You'll be able to get information about our conference, or just visit our website, ndcpi.org, and there's information you can sign up to get notifications about the conference. This year we're focusing on choosing joy, right? So it's going to be phenomenal as a way. And we think about joy, right, as intentionality, right, around our care and our wellness, right? It's not escapism, but it is to face the real challenges of life boldly, but to refuse to give in to despair in the midst of that. So,
Absolutely.
so just a little nugget to let you know that's coming. We would love to have you, but you are so right. I appreciate you for bringing that up because that actually does tie into the holistic preparation. You're saying, how do I prepare the preacher? How does the preacher prepare themselves? So that's very, very key. Okay, so now let's take a quick moment and tell us like really what happened. So let's say a person is like, I think I kind of want to do this. If I could learn about how to be a better storyteller, if I could learn about being theologically faithful or being more authentic in the pulpit. Come on, somebody. How can I be myself in that space? And this sounds like a great program for me. Tell me, what would they do, and then what does the process look like, and what would they experience in the program?
So the application is on our website, ndcpi.org, and I'm the one who reviews the applications. And sometimes you will wait a little bit just because we start accepting applicants closer to when the cohort begins. So we will have cohorts this year in the summer and in the fall. And once you're accepted, that acceptance letter it'll be an email from me. And once you're accepted, the look of the cohort kind of depends on the facilitators. So our programs in the past have usually been hybrid. Last fall, we had an entirely in-person cohort that went extremely well. And right now we're running a cohort that's completely online that is also going extremely well. So really it's just up to the facilitators on how the cohort is kind of set up. But usually our typical format would be the first two are in person, and then we have four online meetings, and then our last one is in person. And so during the in-person meetings, that is when we go over the sermons that people sign up for. One of the assignments is signing up to have your sermon reviewed on a certain day. And so you'll get together, listen in class about listen to a sermon and kind of give feedback to that preacher. And it's not anything super high stakes. Nobody is very critical. It's all in it's all meant to improve everyone, and but it's not a space to tear each other down. And I feel like that's always important to note. So because some classes, but so that is like the main kind of portion. During the online meetings is when you really just discuss the reading. So our main textbook that we use for the cohorts is called Delivering the Sermon by Reverend Teresa Fry Brown. And it's just a 6-chapter book, so it works perfect in how our spacing is set up for the classes. And see, I'm trying to think.
That's funny.
Okay.
So thanks for that. So basically, they're in conversation. They're doing some reading, learning more insight about the preaching craft itself. I think they read a little Frank Thomas as well.
Yes, they do.
Frank
Yep.
Thomas, Dr. Teresa Fry Brown, love. They've actually both been very supportive of our program, so we're super excited. Our students get to read that, but then they're putting that in conversation with their own sermon and their own not sermon but their own preaching, and as they're listening to each other's sermons and thinking about how the values show up and all of that, right, connecting those dots. And the idea is that they're starting to learn and to grow, so it really is a very supportive environment. It's for sure. I know what Mya's getting at is that it is a space of love and support, because really we're all in this together. We all do better if we all are preaching better,
right?
And it's safe because you're with your colleagues, right? And how often do preachers get to be together,
right,
in that kind of way? So I think that's one of the other benefits that I've seen is the relationships that people have developed, the connection they have developed, especially that in-person cohort. Shout out to cohort 7.
That was so good.
We know y'all watching. So shout out to cohort 7. They had a really special bond led by Jeff Krajewski and Jeff Bauer. Phenomenal job.
They did amazing.
All of our facilitators. That's the other thing.
Fantastic.
So you all get to meet wonderful facilitators who are very competent and wonderful at leading the conversation about the values and engaging that with your preaching. So it's just an endless opportunity to not only network, but actually build some relationships, connect with colleagues, and be in a space where it's safe. Most of the time, we don't have time for this. It's just Sunday's coming, gotta preach, this event, this thing, this meeting, do this, kids, family, work, all the things. This allows space to do a little development and improvement on yourself. And it's all resource for you. Everything's paid for by the program. You also receive a stipend as well for participating. So it's just a wonderful program. And then you get to connect to whatever resources we have, whatever events we may have, if that's the conference coming up in October, if that's the lab, whatever things we are involved in, you get to be connected to that as well. Absolutely. So it really is a space just to pour into preachers. And our cohort program is essentially the heart of the program. It's a space where we really do the work of developing what we hope are more compelling preachers. So thanks, Maya, for giving us some insight into the program. Let me ask you, is there anything else you feel like the people need to know about our cohort experience?
I think the biggest thing is that I think one of the really neat things about our program is that everyone that joins is local to the Indianapolis area. And so when people come, they really can network with preachers in their area, and most of the time we're a lot closer than we think we are. And I think that that's something that's kind of unique to our program. I mean, I know, because some of the other like compelling preaching grants have like more of a national reach or kind of a statewide reach, but we're local. And so we really try to pour into the Indianapolis preachers, and I think that that's a really cool thing that we get to do.
Thank you for raising that. You're really right. Really, the scope of our grant really is to pour into preachers in the Indianapolis area, which is super special because there are several of these programs all around the country, but this one really is focused on the folks right here in Indianapolis. And also, we're ecumenical in nature. You don't have to be of any particular denomination. You don't have to have, and also we're open on different educational levels. Some people have been to seminary, some people have not. You hinted at that earlier. So it really is about us being community, supporting each other as colleagues, and so that we do work that makes a difference in the lives of God's people, and that it makes a difference in our lives as well. Right. So we have a very sort of open spirit, I would say, in how we do what we do, and serious spirit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
Also, really want to point out, we eat well. Okay. So you don't come to our functions. Let me just be clear. Okay. We have nice meals. We make sure we take good care of you. We feed you. We ask you to come in here for 3 hours and then give you some popcorn. No, ma'am. No, sir.
There is a meal every in-person meeting. There is a meal, and that we can promise.
And the folks like it. The participants like it. So that's our cohort experience, and it just allows you to develop as a preacher. And the thing and it could be right. I just want to say, like, you hear those 6 values and you go, oh, that's so much, but you really can learn about all the 6 values, right? But then really lean into the one that's most important to you. So
absolutely.
If you come in and you're like, man, I really want to develop as a storyteller, then you can really kind of make that your focus. Even though you're going to learn about all the things, it's going to be natural that's the one that impacts you most, that you can spend the most time thinking and developing, right? And it's okay. I love it because I love the point that you said. A lot of us we've not taken any classes since seminary, right? No certifications, no updates, no none of that.
That's what I hear a lot.
For those who have been in seminary or whatever training you have had, so this gives us an opportunity to do that, and you are being invested in, right? Absolutely. At the same time. So I just love it for that. It's a wonderful experience because of that. Okay, well, listen, let's be thankful to Maya. We're so glad to have you on the podcast today. It's been great to have you talk a little bit about our program. We think it's an amazing program.
Yes.
If you're listening to this and you're an Indianapolis preacher or from the general central Indiana area, we would love to pour into you and to support you this year in a cohort. Don't mess around. Get on the website today and apply. ndcpi.org. Just apply. We would be happy to receive your application, and we would love to have you in one of our programs because we love preachers and we want to support and pour into preachers. And what a great opportunity we have to be able to do that in this program. So if you know you feeling a little something, you like, oh, maybe I should. Don't delay. Just go for it.
Just do it.
This is not a hard application. Just be honest. Be yourself. We want to hear from you, and we want to get to know you and support you, and you can become part of the CPI family.
That's right.
So we looking forward to hearing from you when we see your application.
That's
or
right.
maybe you know someone else who should apply. Maybe you know a preacher that should apply. So
send it over.
Send over your application right away. We can't wait to hear from you. So thank you again, Mya, for being with us today.
Thank you, Rev.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Called and Crafted the Pod. We are happy to have you, and we will see you